Welcome back to another 6K Sports Sedan Challenge presented by Continental Tire, where today we're going to fix all the little things that are wrong with my Lexus. If you guys watched our Everything That's Wrong with the Lexus episode, then you'll know there was lots of little like electrical issues, door actuators, a faulty center armrest, stuff like that that are just annoyances really. So we're gonna go ahead and fix all of those today. But before we do that, our fancy side skirts are back from paint, everyone, and they look fantastic. Luke and Mike at 242 Customs did an amazing job on these. They are like glass, they're so good. They did a ton of prep work. The fiberglass on these had actually been flexed by someone like jacking up on the under part of the side skirt. So they had to do some repair work. They filled a ton of little pinholes because fiberglass tends to get those. So they did a lot of prep work, and it really shows because they look incredible. So thank you so much, Luke. You guys did an amazing job. So as I just mentioned, they did have to do a bunch of repair work because these were flexed from people jacking up underneath here. And because they sit so much lower than the factory skirts, and there's no cutout there to get to the seam along the side of the car where you would normally jack the car up from, somebody just like bent the whole skirt up until it hit the seam, and that flexed and stressed the fiberglass, which we don't want to do. So we need to make a notch here on the underside so that we can fit a jack in there whenever we need to, service the car. So realistically, we should have done that before we took it to paint. We forgot.
As we always do.
As we always do. Not the end of the world though, because it's underneath here, so it's really not going to be a big deal. And I think we also have to do just a little bit of relief cutting in the corners, especially on the back corner. It's kind of interfering and not fitting quite perfectly.
I've done a quick measurement underneath, and here is the outline that I'm just going to cut out so we have ample room. And I'm going to use a Dremel tool here just to be careful. I don't want the paint to crack at all, even though it is in an area you're not going to see, but wow, that turned out as good as I could have imagined. Look at that. No cracks, nothing like that. And now we're gonna be able to jack this car up without any issue. So let's get these bad boys on. As always, what you think is going to be a 10-minute job turns into a 2-hour job, but these things fit up so well. The only huge headache we ran into was this piece here. I don't know if this mold was 100% proper because it was kind of like bulging out here. So when we pushed this down, it popped out this area here. So I had to 3M tape it quite a bit. The other side was way better, but now that it's fitted up, it looks, I think, man, OE spec. Like this looks so, so good. I think we did the right thing by keeping these little indents, these, I don't know what you want to call them, like fake speed vents.
Sporty gills.
They look so good, man. This car looks so proper now.
Now that we've got those sexy side skirts on there, it is time for a very subtle, but I think nice addition of a spoiler. And in fact, this is something that in the wheel and tire video, a few people mentioned in the comment section. It's like, oh man, the car would look really cool if we put a little spoiler on it. And we'd actually ordered this, man, a long time ago. And it came kind of like in a weird packaging where it was kind of like bent in half. And you can see it's got these waves in it here,
Yeah.
which is not ideal. So, I mean, this is an inexpensive eBay item. It's the right.
It's like $100.
Yeah, it's true. It's not like free 99, is it?
Should be putting it in a proper package, maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, a bit disappointing the way it was packaged. We're hopeful that we can heat this up and it'll hold its shape just by virtue of the strength of the 3M tape holding it down to the trunk lid. So we're gonna try that. You can see it's made of, what would this be, like an ABS type plastic, I guess?
I don't know. It's too rubbery.
Maybe
I think it's
more
almost
rubbery?
like a rubberized
rubber type
plastic.
of,
I don't know.
something in that realm anyway. But we think it might respond reasonably well to heat. We just don't want to damage the paint in the process. So we'll be as gentle with that as we can. But like you can see, there's quite a bit of flexibility in it here. Just if I push it down, like I think it'll work itself out. So let's give it a shot. It is pre-painted. It is matched. So just won't have to worry about that. Okay, just putting some heat in this, hoping that that will let it take it a shape better. So at this point, I think I just keep peeling the tape and
I'm gonna come over here so we get a better view of this.
peel it past this first hump here and try to line it up with the edge of the trunk lid here, just kind of where it rolls over, and see if that will hold its shape or not. Cross your fingers, everyone. Taking mine off here.
Well,
I think it worked.
wow,
I think
it
it
did.
worked.
Sweet.
All right, well.
Well, that's a victory.
While this is still warm, I think I will keep going here. Just giving this thing a final polish here. And woo, look at all the downforce that's happening here, PT. You got no chance in like the high speed events now.
I know, look at this thing.
There's so much more rear grip, it's crazy.
Maybe what I'll do is I'll get you one of those like tiny little spoilers that you put on the back of cars. That's right, yeah.
Yeah, I love those.
It looks good, man. That looks
Yeah.
super solid. I think it's a worthy addition to the car here.
Yeah, I like it. I think it adds a little flair and, you know, flair is good. I don't know about you guys, but sweet mumbo jumbo, this thing looks good. Look at those side skirts, PT.
Oh,
Woo. You did a very good job, by the way. I gave you the reins on that job because I just knew you've got the fine motor skills.
man,
I'm a
my
little
OCD,
loose-ish.
my
I'm a little
OCD gets
loose-ish
me.
here.
Yeah.
So I knew you'd do it, and man, the fitment turned out really well, didn't it?
Yeah.
And it just adds that little extra, I don't know, like aggression to the car. It just lowers its whole profile. And for people who don't know, they'll never look twice at it. They won't realize that those aren't factory side skirts. But for the people that know, and I know you're out there because I've been getting a lot of emails and messages from LS guys. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. I'm calling that all win. Now that those side skirts are done and looking good, we want to make the rest of the exterior look good too, starting with this side cover. These are like an OE cover that goes on the B-pillar area, and they break for some reason. I don't know why they fail, but this one has failed completely. You can see there's actually a seam hidden under here that the previous owner or someone has tried to cover with black vinyl. And you can see the vinyls come off down here. So we're gonna take the vinyl off, see if we can get this cover off so we don't have this sort of horrible jagged edge here, and then rewrap it with vinyl so it has a cleaner look. Okay, just heated that up so that we can try to peel this off. It's cold in the shop today, but hopefully this will, oh Jesus.
Too hot, huh?
Woo, that is hot. Woo, could fry an egg on there. But you can see the heat does allow that vinyl to come up nicely. Just don't give yourself a 3rd-degree burn in the process. So the vinyl is off, and now you can see that it's this plastic cover just, I guess, gets hard and brittle and fails.
Does it though? It's so weird.
Isn't
It's
it
just
weird?
the weirdest thing. I've never seen something like that break before.
Yeah,
and it's not like you can peel it up like what
Well,
you're trying to do right now.
You can, like, along the edges, but yeah, it's well adhered up in this area. So why it fails down here, I have no idea. You can also see that we have to do something about these door handles. They're missing a cover here, and this one's all tattered up there. And this one's also missing part of the cover back here. So I'm gonna fix all that, starting with these B-pillar covers right now. So here's our hidden fasteners. There's one at the top, 2 more to go. And you can see it's pretty easy to get at. Just kind of pull the weather stripping out of the way and remove these 3 screws. And I think that should do it.
Man, I hope that's it.
What the internet is telling me. just a little bit of a struggle to get this to come loose, but you kind of just have to work it off, and I think we are finally to the point where it came off, and you can see this weather strip sort of pinches it onto the door area here, and this part kind of hooks on there. Anyway, just a bit of fiddling to get it off, but actually now that it is off, it's going to be much easier to wrap, isn't it, Pete? Because we're not going to have to
we got to like figure out what we're going to do here with this seam, right?
Yes.
Whether we're going to be able to strip it, or at this point we might be able to just sand it off too. So
good question. And that, I mean, I don't know, maybe the right play is just to buy another one of these. They're not cheap, but in the meantime, let's try vinyl wrapping it and see how we do with it. And if it looks really bad, then we'll just go and buy one. Well, we just had a bit of a chat about how to remove this, and Pete thinks this is paint rather than I thought it was more like a plastic cover over chrome, but I think he's probably right. I think it is paint. So we're gonna just try some aircraft stripper or coating remover. Spray it on here. I've covered up the seals that are on here so we don't damage them with this. Can you hear that, everybody? Look, it's alive. All right, precautions have been taken. Let's just give this a bit of a scrape, and man, that stuff works. The aircraft industry knows what's up, because they know how to strip paint, that's for sure. There's still a little bit along the edges here.
Yeah, we'll have to make another pass.
Yeah, we didn't get enough on there, but wow, that stuff works.
You do that a couple times, and this thing's going to be minty fresh.
It will be.
Shoot again.
Well, it's on there, and it certainly looks better than it did before. It doesn't have that really ugly ridge in it and missing vinyl down here, but it's not perfect. It's kind of tweaking me a little bit because it's not as black as the original. This is like a piano black, and it's very glossy. And this is, although a gloss black, it's not as black of a black, if that makes any kind of sense. I don't know how well you can see it on camera, but it's just like not a good match. So I think I'm gonna order a new one, because it's actually quite easy to swap it on and off now that we've learned how to do it. And we also made a bit of a boo-boo on the inside here where we stripped the inner edge here of the paint, and now it looks kind of crappy. So with a new piece on there, that will look proper. Not that that really matters visually, you can't see it from the outside of the car, but that'll still tweak me. As you can see, it was remarkably easy to remove the door handles. I mean, yeah, we had to take the inner door panel stuff off, but it turned out to be like a 5-minute job, which was quite a contrast to your car, Pete, because I spent, I want to say, at least an hour, maybe 2 hours to get the door handles out of that thing. It was a full-on battle. I needed to consult the internet for about 40 minutes just trying to figure out.
We're a pain in the butt.
This was super, super simple. So, as a matter of fact, I got replacement pieces for it right here from our friends at LKQ. They are one of the larger auto recyclers in the world, and they happen to be pretty much down the road from us. And they sourced these for us from a car out of the States, and it showed up like 2 days later, and you can see they're in good shape. Man, that job is done, and it was super easy to do. And we even had time to give it a quick polish and a ceramic coating, and it looks like brand new. So, wow, I'm amazed. This car continues to amaze me how easy and how pleasurable it is to work on. So it's nice to have this in our life, Pete, when you're putting me through this whole BMW ordeal over there. So the rear's a little bit, well, it's basically the same. It doesn't have this little access port on the side, so we have to unbolt the door lock mechanism and move it out of the way to get to the bolt, but otherwise it's the same process. Pop the door panel out, move that out of the way, one bolt, this will come out, swap the new one in, and we'll be done. With this side of the car looking much better, I wanted to move on to doing a bunch of the door actuator, electrical stuff inside the car, but it's getting late and we have to get to the dyno because we want to throw this thing on BMS Tuning's dyno jet to find out how much power it makes before we get under the hood and start to really make some power. All right, guys, I hope you're ready to have your minds blown by the sheer horsepower of the 3UZ and the sound too. It's gonna sound amazing. Or not, it's very muffled, isn't it?
It is.
This is John, by the way, at BMS Tuning here in Hamilton. Just moved into a newish location for you guys.
Newish for us, yeah, about 6 months.
And you have your dyno jet in the ground and very generously offered to let us use it. So they're like 10 minutes from our shop, which is super handy. So if you guys live in the Hamilton area, anywhere in Southern Ontario.
Anywhere in Southern Ontario, yep.
And you are specializing in, you've actually got a really broad spectrum of cars
We
here.
do a lot of different stuff. I mean, not a lot of stuff we do is LS based, but not exclusively. We do a lot of German cars, Japanese, domestics, obviously, a lot of swaps, a lot of turbo stuff. Pretty much everything is performance oriented.
Right.
You know, not necessarily specific to one brand, but definitely specific to making power.
Yeah, if you jump on their Instagram, you'll see they've got a bunch of like twin turbo LS stuff in there. They're also doing a single turbo kit on a Audi S8, is it?
S6.
S6, sorry. So cool stuff here. All right, so predictions on horsepower?
230.
230. I think that's a pretty good number. I haven't cheated and looked at graphs on the internet, but
I'm saying 150.
ooh, the hater back there.
He's
All right,
hating on you.
I'm gonna go 231. I'm going the opposite of Price is Right on here. So if it makes more than 231, I win, right? That's how it goes. So
I'll just get out of the throttle.
the dyno operator is going to cheat on it. All right, well, don't expect good noises yet, but we'll fix that in a future episode. So let's get rolling here. All right, John. Well, looks like you won.
That was close.
My Price is Right move was the wrong play because we made 229
Yeah.
wheel horsepower and 245 pound-feet of torque. So pretty much exactly what you would expect with a 20% drivetrain loss, right?
Yeah, it's almost exact.
So we know we have a healthy motor, and the one struggle we had was getting it to hold fourth gear.
Yeah, I kept wanting to downshift
Yeah,
no matter
so
what we did.
We'll have to do a little homework on that, but we did get it to hold fourth on that last pull, and we could see there was no difference in the peak number between third and fourth gear. So I think this is a good baseline.
It's fairly accurate, I would say.
Yeah. So thanks for letting us play.
No problem.
And we will go away, make a few mods, including one that should add maybe 80 wheel or so, I hope. Maybe
would
a
be
little more.
interesting.
You guys will have to stay tuned to find out what that is. So I think it's time to get out of here. Well, there you have it, everyone. That is a wrap on this episode. And man, this car is looking better and better every day. I don't know why, but this thing just makes me so happy. I love this big old barge. It's such a sweet looking machine, and it really is a joy to drive it. So it will get better very soon with more power. But before we get to that, I know you guys are dying to see how much power we can make with it and how we're gonna go about doing that. We do wanna finish the sort of like pursuit of perfection with this thing, getting all those other little bugs fixed inside. So thanks again for watching, everyone. And by the way, this car continues to be an interesting contrast in what is a very complete and, might I say, lovely looking machine compared to Pete's M5 Touring over here. Still looking kind of sad